Well, good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly. As always, we're pleased to have you with us here just days before Christmas, and I know everybody's excited about that. I am. And joining me this morning is Green Suttles. Green recently hired by the Jasper Industrial Development Board to head up the economic development function there. And what I want to do is open first with just an overview of how the Jasper Industrial Development Board connects with the city of Jasper. And it's completely reasonable for people to believe that the city of Jasper controls that. I've mentioned in previous sessions, people feel that we might control the Jasper City Board of Education, the Jasper Water Works and Sewer Board, and the city does not control any of those entities. As far as the Board of Education and the Utilities Board, we appoint their boards of directors. The council appoints their boards of directors. The Jasper Industrial Development Board, the council appoints their boards of directors. The city of Jasper has a powerful influence tool, if they chose to use it as such, in that they provide significant funding to the Jasper Industrial Development Board, and they have not used that as such. So people ask me, when are you going to do this or that or the other? The mayor controls nothing in the Jasper Industrial Development Board. If I had any sort of control to the mayor, not David O'Meara, whoever occupies office, has the power of veto. And if the city is passing a budget that allocated money to the Industrial Development Board, the mayor was in disagreement with that, the mayor could certainly veto the budget. The council, by simple majority, can overrule the mayor, but the mayor can certainly voice any concerns he or she might have about funding the Industrial Development Board. So certainly want to make it clear that we don't control that, and at the end of the day, what happens or doesn't happen in industrial recruitment, I don't have a toggle switch or any sort of control knob where I can make things happen. Like I said, I think I have some influence on the players and trying to make things move in the right direction, but it is important to know that that we don't control the Jasper Industrial Development Board. If you go back in time, the board was formed in 1951. The Articles of Incorporation set out that the council would appoint the board members. The council does not have to appoint the board members by council district. They can be appointed at large. They have been very sensitive to that heretofore to try to make sure we have representation across the city. There was a time predating my time in office where the number of allotted directors was increased significantly, more than we should have had, and that's not a reflection on anyone that served on the board recently. Recent as in the last couple of weeks, the council approved a resolution to reduce that number to 12 board members. And again, the council, as those terms run, and they always like to hear a recommendation from members on the board who they'd like to see appointed, but certainly not bound by that. And all of those folks serve as volunteers. There's no compensation, and but that's a general summary. And I know there's confusion at times, and it's justifiable. It's understandable that when you say Jasper Industrial Development Board, you'd assume that the city controls that, and just wanted to set the record straight on that. As I mentioned this morning, joining me this morning is Green Suttles. Green's an Alabama native, comes to us from Jasper, Georgia. The Industrial Development Board hired Green to come here and look after the Industrial Development Board. His background, as you would expect, is economic development, and it's an area in our city that really, and I say that public, and I say it and not in a timid fashion, that needs some attention. If you look across other areas of the city, we've had good success. We have our challenges in economic development because topographically the land that we have in this area is not easy to develop. But I sense that there's a high level of enthusiasm and energy on the part of Green to try to get things moving in the right direction. And if we can, we bring jobs to the city, and of course that helps grow our tax base, and that's what we're about. Green, we're glad to have you in Jasper, and your thoughts. Said, I think, born in Selma, spent some of your growing up years, I believe, in Mobile, and have moved around, and maybe your take on Jasper and what you have on your radar screen to help us in the way of economic development.
Well, I'll give you a little background first. Born in Selma, as you said, moved with my fiance and I moved to Mobile in 1985. I've been involved in economic development most of my years in Mobile, starting in 1999, and one role or another. I've had several different roles, which gives me many looks at this thing from different viewpoints of view. And in 2000, I went to Georgia to do some economic development work for Pickens County over there, and then got this opportunity to move over here. And I will be very candid. Every county, every community has a X amount of resources. They either have so much land, they have so much experience, they have so much resources, whether it's the ability to get things done, the money to participate in economic development, the will to do so. And Jasper is really strong. And now that's from a view looking into Jasper from outside. You have every resource, and including the land, which you say is difficult, but the fact is you have 355-acre industrial park with some of it flat right now, and all the utilities, all the resources. You have the ability to do deals. If you get a good prospect in here and they need some help, the resources are right there and the will to use them. So my job is to coordinate and pull these together. So a lot of people say, well, what does the economic developer do? Well, he recruits industry. Well, that's the thing that's on the top of everybody's mind. However, really, it's only a part of the job. As I've been told, and I've learned real fast, the mayor likes to talk about what's your lane, what do you do? Well, here's the lane for the economic development guy. Two principal things, and then two things that fall underneath those. First thing, of course, is top of everybody's mind, recruiting new industry. Truth is, it's not the most important thing, because the most important thing is taking care of your existing industry. And why does that come first rather than second? Because when that new prospect shows up, he's going to talk to your existing industry. And if you're a good partner with them and you're the community and they're happy, you're going to win. If they're not, because you haven't been paying attention to them, it's going to be tough. And so that happens everywhere, every time. So my two principal things to do are recruit new industry and take care of the existing industry. And that's not unusual. That is absolutely standard business practice for somebody in my role. Now, recruitment falls one other task under it, and that's land development. You cannot recruit if you do not have a place for them to go. For instance, that leads us right to the seeds grant. The state of Alabama put up a grant for the first time ever of $40 million to match local monies to prepare sites so they're ready to go. And we just yesterday submitted our seeds grant for the White House Road site to make that site absolutely ready to go, so it's a must-see for anybody looking for a 50-acre site in the Birmingham metro area. So that's a very exciting thing for me as a practitioner. That's a very good thing. But that will lead us immediately into looking for the next site after that. So we have 355 acres. Where's the next best place to scrape it off and flatten the spot and get it ready for the next prospect? So recruitment and land development are A and B of that group. The existing industry part is bringing resources from the state to support the existing industry. If they have an opportunity to capture, they might want to partner to help them with the local board to capture that expansion opportunity. Or if they've got a real problem, then they may need some help to solve that problem. So those are the two things that we call that in my business retention and expansion. Notice the retention is the problem, the expansion is the opportunity. And so will be an ongoing calling program where I go out and call on industries in this community to help them succeed and prepare for their future success and growth and hiring more people in the community. And so what is almost every one of those companies' problems? Certainly 80%, if not more, workforce. Everybody's struggling for more talent. And so my role in that scheme is not to be helping the Bevel State or the school system so much, but is being the voice of all those businesses talking to Bevel in the school system and finding ways to help the community prepare any and everyone, whether they be an adult or a youth, to be able to take a good paying job. And that's the other thing that's important that I want everybody to understand. Our business is about raising the wages and the living income of every person. A sustainable living wage is where we are. There's no point in us incenting anybody to come here if they're not going to pay enough for you to live well in Jasper. No. It doesn't build a tax base, does it?
No, it does not.
It does not. So we're all about, so not only am I worried about how many jobs someone creates, it's very important of what they're going to pay. And so those are the things we're doing. That's pretty much the whole lane of your economic developer. And believe it or not, there's a myriad of different things inside that what appears to be a lane of only 4 little things. They're very complicated, but every time those 4 principles, when you apply them in a community, they all get unique every single time because every place is unique. That's pretty much it.
Right. Well, Green, it's encouraging, given your background, to hear your take on Jasper. We have the things necessary to be successful, and the short period of time that you've known me, you've heard me say this, and you'll hear it time and time again. Nothing much moves without money, and the funding at the city, not contractual in any way, the funding that the council has elected to give to the Industrial Development Board, in your opinion, is more than adequate for us to run a successful program. Is that right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's more than adequate. If you look at it, just to give you an example, back to the SEEDS grant. The SEEDS grant requires a 75-cent to the dollar match for Walker County. So if I ask for $1 on that grant, I got to put up 75 cents locally. The Industrial Development Board passed a resolution the other day. They'll match it up to $750,000. We're going to ask for $1 million, and they have the cash. They're ready to go. And
hadn't got to be biting their nails or running down to see if the bank will loan them any money or anything like that. And that has to be comforting to an economic developer.
It absolutely is. And it's very evident that if there's an opportunity that looks good and everybody agrees this is exciting, more is available. There are pathways to get it done. Now, I'm very optimistic that we have the ability and the flexibility, as you say, with money, to be able to come up with any creative solution that makes mathematical sense about the return on investment for the community. One of the things I didn't mention that I'm going to be sure to do is we're going to do cost-benefit analysis for every single thing we do. So that way, whatever we're going to put up on the table for support, incentives, tax abatements, whatever it is, we're going to be looking at what the impact will be of that business on here in real dollars, tax dollars for the community. And if it doesn't make mathematical sense, I'm not necessarily going to recommend it.
Yeah. Well, Green, given my previous life and background, that I think I'm competent at calculating return on investment. And you know, I'm a hound about return on investment, and it's folks like you are in somewhat of an unenviable position in that what you do or don't do is highly quantifiable, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out whether you kind of like a football coach. You're either winning games or you're not.
Yes, sir.
And it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. So, Glenn, I want you to know that we're glad you're here. This city stands ready to support you. I think you've already seen that as we've reached out and joined with you in this grant application to support you, meet the timeline, and then the council has put forth the money necessary if we are chosen to receive a grant, then that we can step to the plate and take the grant. And so I wanted you to know a little bit about how the Jasper Industrial Development Board fits into the city, what's going on at the Jasper Industrial Development Board. I can tell you I'm excited about it and believe that we have better days ahead. Thank you for being with us this morning, and we'll look forward to being with you next week.